Now our new topic is dynamic stability of equilibrium. With dynamic stability of equilibrium, we definitely have this idea that the value of equilibrium is changing with time period t. So for that, what we have is we will consider our solution where we had, okay, let me choose a pen first. Now for this, we will consider a solution of the equations which we started before, and we will take this to be the value of b raised to power t, where the value of t will change. That is, it will change from, it will acquire different values. Okay, now we have a pen over here with us. Let's change the color of the pen. Let it be this one. Okay. Let's change the color of this. Okay. Now suppose we have our equation is such that the solution is y is equal to b raised to power t. Okay. So the value of b, it will remain the same. There will be no change in the value of b. It will be same. What will we change? What will change is the value of t. That is, there will be a change in the time period, and because of change in time period, this y will also change, and it will lead us to different equilibrium positions, and therefore it will have a time path which will follow a certain direction. Okay, clear. So therefore, for this, all you need to do is that you have to draw a table, and for that table, the first column will contain, sorry, the first row will contain the value of b. Okay, these are the headings. The value of b. Okay, this is the first row that I am writing, the values of the first row that I am writing. Then we will have b raised to power t. Then we will have t is equal to 0. T is equal to 1. T is equal to 2. T is equal to 3. And T is equal to 4. Okay. So this is the first column of the table, which will be like this. Okay. T is equal to 4. Then next, what will we have is that, of course, value of b means that what is the range of values of b that it should occupy, so that by having different values of b, what time path will it follow. So therefore, firstly, let us suppose that, okay, let me take the screen pen. The reason is that its nib is a bit thinner so that we can write easily with it. So let's take the screen pen and start writing it. Now this is b is greater than 1. The value of b is greater than 1. And what else we will write over here is that the absolute value of b is also greater than 1. Now, what do we mean by value of b is greater than 1? Simply, we will take the value of b which is greater than 1. Now, the closest value of b which is greater than 1 is 2. If we do not want to move to decimal points. Therefore, the value of b is 2, and this equation will now be written as 2 raised to power t. Clear? So if the value of t is equal to 0, that is, if t is equal to 0, then t raised to 2 raised to power 0 is equal to 1. Okay. Now in place of t, what we have written is, we have written 0. So therefore, 2 raised to power 0 is equal to 1. Then 2 raised to power, now the value of t is equal to 1. 2 raised to power 1 is equal to 2. So therefore, we write it like this. Then the next one is 2 raised to power 2 is equal to 4. Okay. Clear? So after this, we will have 2 raised to power 3 is equal to 8, and 2 raised to power 4 is equal to 16. We will write all these values. Okay. 2 raised to power 3. 2 2s are 4. 4 2s are 8. So therefore, it will become 8. I think I should not explain how it has become equal to 8 or how it has become equal to 16, because then that is one of the simplest of the maths. And over here we are studying the applied mathematics. 2 raised to power 4 is 16. So if the value of b is greater than 1, then if the value of t starts from 0 and it ends at 4, then the different values of the function, that is, we had y is equal to bt, different values of this function, that is y is equal to bt, it will be such that its value will be 1, 2, 4, 8, and 16. Now what will we do is that for every value of b, we will draw a graph as well. Because if we will draw a graph just right with the value by giving the values of b, then it will be more understandable to us. So therefore, what happens next is, what will we do is that we will take the value of the functions on the vertical axis, okay, and the values of b on the, okay, let me try it again. Okay. Now just give this problem to me, eraser. These are my limited resources, so therefore I'm facing some problems with that until and unless I get a pen. Then, till then we will study with the same technique. So therefore, if the value of p is greater than 1 and greater than 0 and less than 1, then we will have it equal to 1 by 2. So therefore, 1 by 2 raised to power 0 is equal to 1. Okay. Then 1 by 2 raised to power 1 is equal to 1 by 2. 1 by 2 raised to power 2 is equal to 1 by 4. 1 by 2 raised to power 3 is equal to 1 by 8. And 1 by 2 raised to power 4 is equal to 1 by 16. Now simply if you look at these values, what we get over here is that the value is decreasing. If 1 by 2 is 0 0.5, 1 by 4 is less than 0 0.5, 1 by 8 is less than 1 by 4, and 1 by 16 is less than 1 by 8. So therefore, it is giving us a clear idea that with time, the trend will start to decrease or decline. How will it decline? This can be known very well through the given diagram. So therefore, we will draw a diagram for this. Now we will have a separate diagram for this. On y-axis, we will take the values of the function y, and on x-axis, we will take the values of t. Now, when the value of b was when the value of t was equal to 0, then the value of the function was equal to 1. Okay. Now, when the value of t became 1, then the value of the function became 1 by 2. 1 by 2 was something like somewhere over here, that is 0 0.5. Okay. Or we can say that this is also equal to 1 by 2. So therefore, the next point is 1, 2, 3, and 4. So therefore, when the value of t is equal to 1, our next point to be allocated is somewhere over here. Whereas the first point was at 1. Why? Because t is equal to 0, then y is equal to 1. So when the value of t is equal to 2, then the value of y is equal to 1 by 4. So therefore, 1 by 4 comes somewhere over here. We can see that the values are declining. The time path trend is declining. Then for the next value, it is equal to 1 by 8. And it is becoming closer and closer to 0. Then we have 1 by 16. Now, how can we join these points? We will join these points like this. This is for t is equal to 0. Now, for t is equal to 1, we will come like this, okay? For t is equal to 2, then for t is equal to 3, t is equal to 4. Now, what is this explaining to us? This is saying that time path is convergent. If it is moving towards the horizontal axis, then it is giving us a clear idea that the time path is convergent. It is moving towards some equilibrium position. It is not moving away, just like in this case, it was moving in this direction. Now over here, it is moving in this direction. So therefore, the time path is convergent. when the value of b is greater than 0 and less than 1. So now let's move on towards our next value of b, where the value of b is equal to 0. When the value of b is equal to 0, then we say that the time path is coinciding with the horizontal axis. Unmuted. Okay, now if the value of b is equal to 0, a very simple solution for this, if the value of b is equal to 0, it means if we take the power of 0 to be anything, it will remain 0. So therefore, all the values of the function, that is y, is equal to b raised to power t, will be equal to 0. If all the values of the function are equal to 0, then what does it mean? It means that the time path will coincide the horizontal axis. Now for this, we will use this very same figure. Now the time path will be with 0, 0, 1, 0, 2, 0. It's on the same line, okay? Then it is 3, 0. And in the end, we have 4, 0. So therefore, we can say that the time path in this case is coinciding with the horizontal axis. This is the time path, which is coinciding on the horizontal axis. In place of horizontal axis, let me write it to be x-axis. X-axis, okay? Okay. Let me just correct it first. Yeah. So therefore, now the next value of b is that the value of b should be greater than -1 and it should be less than 0. What does this mean? The value of b is greater than -1 and it is less than 0. That is, if we take a number line, let me just explain it to you over here. In very simple terms, this is number line, this is 0, this is -1, okay? So the value of b should lie somewhere over here. This is the next condition, that the value of b should be greater than -1. It can lie over here on any of these points. Greater than -1, less than 0. It should lie in this direction between these 2 points. So let us take the value of b to be equal to -1/2. Okay, the value of b in this case is equal to -1/2. Now the value of b is greater than -1, so therefore we can write it as -1 is less than b and b is less than 0. So if we do it like this, let us suppose we take the value of b to be equal to -1/2. Therefore, our function will be y is equal to -1/2 raised to power t. Now, if the power of -1/2 is 0, what will we get over here? We will get 1. If the power of -1/2 is equal to 1, then we will get -1 over here. -1/2 over here. If the power of -1/2 is equal to square, that is, it has an even number in the power, then it will become +1/4. If the power of -1/2 is equal to 3, then again it will be, it is an odd number. Therefore, if we multiply this minus sign 3 times with each other, then we will get a minus over here, and therefore it will be -1/8. And then if the power of again -1/2 is equal to +4, so an even power will lead to a positive value, that is, it will become equal to 1/16. Now this will give us a different kind of diagram. Why are different? Because we have both positive and negative values over here. So therefore, in this case, our curve will be such that I will try to draw it somewhere over here so that it is closer to the values that we have evaluated. Over here, we will get the value of y. Over here, we will get the value of t. Write the value of t, okay? When the value of t is equal to 0, then the value of the function is equal to 1. So therefore, let this be equal to 1. Okay. Now, as we have negative values as well, so therefore let us take a -1 as well over here. Let this be equal to -1. Right? So therefore, the first point that is located is this one. Why? Because when the value of p is equal to 0, the first point to be located is over here at +1. Now, when the value of t is equal to 1, then we have -1 by 2 is the value of the function. So therefore, -1 by 2 lies some. Okay, let me write 1, 2, 3, or let's do one more thing. Okay, now this is equal to 1. Okay? This is equal to 2. This is equal to 3. And this is equal to 4. Okay. So now the value of t is equal to 1. Then what we have is the value of the function is -1 by 2. So therefore, our next point to be located is over here. -1 by 2 is the half of 0 and -1. So it comes somewhere over here. Okay? This is the next point. Then when the value of t is equal to 2, then we get 1 by 4. 1 by 4 is smaller value, so therefore it will be somewhere closer to, we are moving towards the horizontal axis. This is our new point of equilibrium. When the value of t is equal to 3, then we got -1 by 8, which is again more closer to the horizontal axis. So let's say that it is somewhere over there. And when the value of t is equal to 4, we got 1 by 16, which becomes to be somewhere over here. So when we join these points again, we join them in the same way in the discrete form, it will become like this. Okay. And when we further move ahead, this value will eventually coincide the horizontal axis. Now, when the value of b is less than 0 and greater than -1, then what happens is that, listen to me carefully in this case, time path is convergent in this case. Okay, it is very much clear over here that the time path is convergent. Convergent. Let me write it first. Okay, time path is convergent in this case with damped oscillations. These oscillations are damped oscillations. Why damped? Because they are becoming smaller and smaller with every value of t. That is the amplitude of the cycle, it will eventually shrink to 0. Look here, the value, the amplitude is much higher than the amplitude at this point, and this amplitude is much higher than the amplitude at this point. We can see that it is becoming smaller and smaller and smaller with the time. So therefore, what happens over here is that the amplitude of the cycle is shrinking to 0. Effects of one-time increase in autonomous investment goes on diminishing over time if no disturbance takes place. Because of one-time increase in the investment, that is the value of b to be less than 0 and greater than -1, it has resulted into the convergent time path with damped oscillations, and the cycle is shrinking to 0 with the passage of time. Now we will move on towards our next two values. The next value over here is that the value of b is equal to -1. What will happen if the value of b is equal to -1? Okay, let's take a different marker. Let's use this one. Now let b is equal to -1. If b is equal to -1, it means that we will have -1 raised to power t over here. Clear? -1 raised to power t. What do we mean by this is that if the value of -1 is equal to 0, it will become equal to 1. If the value of -1 is equal to 1, that is, it is an odd power, so therefore it will remain -1. If the value of -1 is equal to 2, it will become 1. If the value of -1 is equal to 3, it will again become -1. If the value of -1 is t is equal to 4, it will become 1. So therefore, with every value of t, the value of 1 is changing. That is, it is the same value with a negative sign, with a negative and a positive sign. So therefore, if we draw the curve for this particular figure where the value of t is 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4, the value of y, that is the function, is becoming 1, minus 1, 1, minus 1, and 1 in the end as well. So therefore, let us draw this curve now. Okay. So we will have the function y is equal to dt on y-axis and the value of time period t at x-axis. We have seen that. Okay, let me just do one more thing. Clear this right again. It should be a straight line. Okay, so when the value of t is equal to 0, then, and if the value of b is equal to minus 1, then it will become equal to 1. So as our values are fluctuating between 1 and minus 1 only, so therefore we will have these two values on the graph. And over here we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. If the value of t is equal to 0, then the value of the function is equal to 1. Okay. If the value of t is equal to 1, the value of the function is equal to minus 1. If the value of t is equal to 2, value of the function is 1. Value of t is equal to 3, the value of the function is again minus 1. And again, if the value of t is equal to plus, the value of t is equal to 4, then the value of the function is equal to plus 1 again. Now we will join these points. We can see that the type of oscillations or the cycle has the same amplitude, that is its peak and trough points are the same. Therefore, in this case, what happens is that we will have our interpretation will be such that this is the situation of which contradicts the real world. In the real world, this does not happen. This is the time path is divergent with uniform oscillations. Again, what we will say over here is that we say that the time path is divergent with the uniform oscillations. Here the oscillations are uniform. Business cycle neither disappears nor explodes. It is neither disappearing nor exploding. It will move in the same direction till last. Okay. So therefore, business cycles neither disappear nor explode. They go on continually with the same amplitude. Now let's have our last value of b, and what will it give us? What values of the function will it give us? We'll study it now. Now, when the value of b is less than minus 1, then we take the value of b. Suppose now the last condition is b is less than minus 1. For that, what happens is that we take the value of minus 2, okay? When we take the value of minus 2, the function becomes minus 2 raised to power t. When the power of minus 2 is 0, we get 1. When the power of minus 2 is 1, we get minus 2. When the power of minus 2 is 2, we get 4. When the power of minus 2 is 3, we get a minus 8. Okay, this is minus 8. And when the power of minus 2 is 4, we get a 16. Now, by plotting all these points on the in the figure, what we get is that the first point tends to be over here, the second point tends to be over here, third point again in the positive quadrant, and then the fourth point tends to be in the negative quadrant of the vertical axis, and the last point again in the positive quadrant of the vertical axis. What we get over here is that the fluctuations are showing that they are exploding. Suppose this is the example of an income. If this kind of situation exists, then we can say that the with successively greater and greater amplitudes, it shows that the system tends to explode and it is divergent from the equilibrium level. Of course, in economy, when it is exploding in the business cycles, we also say that it is the divergent, it is showing the divergent business cycles. These are very important values in order to be understood so that you understand what is the concept of business cycles in macroeconomics as well as in mathematical economics as well. And these are all the business cycles that we have studied in the Kaldor, Samuelson business cycles. When we will be considering the business cycles, it is basically the value of this B, which determines the type of cycles that are existing in the economy. Okay, so now what we have over here is that we can see that we have different values of B. The value of B can be greater than 1, it can be equal to 1, it can be less than 1 and greater than 0, it can be equal to 0, it can be greater than -1 and less than 0, and it can be equal to -1 or -1. It means, in short, it can have any value or any value. And by taking these values, what we get is we get all the different kinds of business cycles. When it was greater than 1, that is when we took a positive value, which of course it is greater than +1. So therefore we got the business cycle, which was divergent with small fluctuations or change in the amplitudes. Here the amplitude is changing at smaller intervals, although it is increasing. Every amplitude is greater than the previous amplitude. That is, this one is greater than this one. The third one is greater than the second one, and fourth one is greater than the third one. So therefore, in this case, again, the cycles are divergent and moving to, away from some equilibrium point. In the second case, when B is equal to 1, we see that the economy is showing that the business cycles are uniformly divergent. That is, the point, the time path is deviating away from the equilibrium, from the initial equilibrium position, and it will deviate till the end in the same direction if the value of B is equal to 1. If the value of B is greater than 0 and less than 1, that is, suppose we take 0.5 or 1/2, then in that case, what happens is we can see that it is moving from some far away equilibrium towards some nearby equilibrium position. That is, it is moving towards the horizontal axis. When the value of the time path is moving towards the horizontal axis, it is showing that it is convergent time path. Clear? So therefore, this is when the value of B is greater than 0 and less than 1. This is basically what we study mostly in our economics, that is, the value lies between 0 and 1. When the value of B is equal to 0, then there is no time path, it lies on the horizontal axis. When the value of B is less than 0 and greater than -1, then again, what kind of time path we will have? We will have a convergent time path. Okay, so the value of B lies between 0 and -1. So therefore, when the value of B lies between 0 and +1 and 0 and -1, then we have convergent time paths. In all the other cases, either we have no time path, just like this one, or the divergent time paths, like in all the other cases. When value of B is -1, we can see that it is moving uniformly away from the equilibrium. Just like in +1, it was also moving uniformly away from the equilibrium. Again, over here, it is uniformly moving away from the equilibrium path. It will follow the same path as it was following previously. If the value of the value of the t increases further. And in the end, if the value of B is less than -1, we can see that when the value of B is greater than 1 and less than -1, in both these cases, the time path is divergent. In this case, it is exploding much quickly as compared to this case, but again, in this case also, it will explode at some particular time. So therefore, when the value of B is greater than 1 or less than -1, the time path is divergent and it is moving away from equilibrium at exploding amplitudes. When the value of B is equal to 0, there is no time path. When the value of B is -1 and when the value of B is equal to 1, then the time path is divergent at a uniform rate. And when the value of B lies between 0 and 1 or 0 and -1, then the time path is convergent. So I would request you all to study this whole dynamic stability of equilibrium positions again. And if there are any questions, you can ask me anytime. I will be waiting for questions if there are any. If there are no questions, it would be something that I would appreciate and a complimentary compliment for me that you got it. But still, if there is any question, you can ask me anytime. This lecture is complete over here. Thank you very much. After this, we will move towards the COP web model, in which we will have again one of the particular type of situation which we have studied over here in a different perspective. We will study it. Thank you very much. Thank you. Take care for now. We will meet in the next lecture.